Dragon Age Origins. C'était le petit cliffhanger de la VOD YouTube. Donc toi tu es pro nous envoyer tout seul. Ok. Gwaninfell, tu es là? Gwaninfell ne répond pas. Eh bien, pour mettre fin à cette attente interminable, nous allons faire ce que tu dis, Tanis. C'est dommage pour Joanne, mais... Au moins, il a suggéré la solution, hein, parce que sinon, on aurait juste buté le gamin. Allez, c'est parti.
Good. Let us get the ritual underway, then.
Il est gentil, il est juste un peu con. Bon, faut se dire aussi que s'il est mage du sang, ça veut dire qu'il a déjà fait un pacte avec un démon. Il y a beaucoup de dire limon, hein.
Father, where are you?
Blessed art thou who exists in the sight of the Maker.
I don't understand. It's so cold. I want to go home.
Curse this blasted darkness! Why can I see nothing? You there? Have you seen my son? I can hear him, but I cannot find him.
Wow.
This blasted fog has me turning in circles.
En attendant, t'as pas voté Gwaninfell. Du coup, c'est nous qui sommes allés dans l'immatériel. Je suis pas sûr qu'Adblock marche encore sur Twitch. Il me semble que tu tapes quand même des pubs, même avec Adblock.
I am indeed the Earl of Redcliffe. Why would you ask me such a thing? Connor calls for me, and I run to find him, yet always he eludes me. Where is Isolde? Why am I here? What? Possessed? Then we must help him. Is that why you're here? You, I do trust you. We must help my son. But I can never find him in this fog. You must find Connor. Please, I beg you.
Connor? Of course.
Il n'y a plus de fantômes dans tous les coins. Allô? Bonjour?
Who are you? Are you the one that made Father ill? Tell me now. You could be a demon too. You could be a demon that just looks like a person. Fool! You won't get near her. I won't let you.
As you desire. Why do they bother?
Waouh, il est trop fort votre démon.
You! You're the one making Father sick!
Am I dead? Am I dreaming? I don't understand any of it.
Why do you keep hurting me? Why are you trying to stop me?
And if I were Connor, what would you say to him? You will not find what you seek. Turn back now. Trespasser! I will drive you out!
Ouah, ils sont deux maintenant. Ça va être trop dur. J'y arriverai jamais.
I'll help him! You can't stop me! Get out of here! You have to get out!
As you desire.
Eh gamin, faut arrêter les conneries maintenant.
Father wanders, seeking me, trapped within my web. All is as it should be. Why must you interfere? Connor invited her to come, and they struck a bargain. She has every right to do as she wishes. No, it is time for you to go now. Do not persist, or things will go very badly for you.
Ouah, ils sont trois maintenant. Hop.
So I shall.
Ouah, ça va mal finir. Ça se voit trop. Ah. Bonjour, c'est le vrai?
Very well. No more illusions. Now we meet face to face. You see my true form, and stand in my domain. It is here I am most powerful. And yet I have no wish to engage your power, nor should you be so eager to engage mine. Perhaps we should converse instead? I am desire. Whatever you creatures of the living world want, I seek to provide. Lust, power, greed. These are my province. Perhaps there are things you wish for. Let us pause and speak of them. It costs nothing but a moment of your time. I possess the boy's soul. We could battle for it, or we could negotiate like civilized beings. If you are smart, you could even come out ahead.
On discute ou on discute pas? C'est un démon quand même. Hein. Mais elle pourrait nous apprendre la magie du sang. Mais est-ce qu'on veut vraiment être un mage du sang? Mais personne n'en saurait rien. Cela dit, je connais déjà la magie du sang, donc is ok. On lui a déjà demandé ça.
I am desire. Whatever you creatures of the living world want, I seek to provide. Lust, power, greed. These are my
On
province.
discute et on avise.
Perhaps there
Ah.
are things you wish for. Let us pause and speak of them. It costs nothing but a moment of your time. Ah, good. I prefer reasonable negotiation whenever possible. Your goal is for me to release the boy's soul. Is that right? What if you could persuade me to leave voluntarily? No fuss, no bloodshed. So you will at least consider it? Let me make a proposition then. I abandon the boy, for now. But I retain the contract he and I made, and many years from now, I may return and claim what is mine. This will be long after whatever you want is done. In exchange, I will provide something of value to you. Something you desire. What say you? I have had my fun in the living world. If I leave, you could tell anyone you've slain me. Even the boy himself would believe it. He will grow and become a mage, mighty and wise. But when I return, his soul would be mine. I offer much. Power, knowledge, pleasure. What is it you desire?
Alors, voilà. Les options. On peut apprendre la magie du sang, la baiser, l'envoyer paître globalement, avoir des points de compétence, ou on peut lui dire d'aller se faire foutre parce que quand même elle dit qu'elle va revenir et qu'elle va foutre la merde quand Connor sera plus vieux. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on choisit? Ah mais le truc c'est que comme c'est pas ma première partie, je l'ai déjà l'aspect magie du sang. Et si je la mets à quelqu'un, ce serait Morrigan parce que c'est le plus RP, mais elle-même a dit qu'elle y recourrait pas dans cette manière parce qu'elle trouve ça complètement con de faire un pacte avec un démon en fait. Elle a d'autres moyens de faire de la magie du sang que ça. Et elle a déjà les connaissances nécessaires en fait. Ah là là. Vous savez qu'elle peut nous posséder aussi hein, si on fait ça. Elle a l'air plus intéressée par Connor, mais... Bon. Du coup, on a un vote pour la buter. Parce qu'on veut pas finir comme Connor quand même. Allez.
Alas, that is sad. Very well then. If you wish a battle, you will have it. Let us see if your power matches your boldness, creature.
Ouah, d'où tu me traites de créature. Cône de feu contre cône de froid. C'est parti. Right. J'avais oublié ce détail. C'est toi.
And so I shall. As you desire.
C'est toi. Battu. En vrai, si tu te trompes de clone, c'est chiant, elle fait des trucs un peu pénibles. Mais bah là, du coup...
So it is over. Connor is his old self. He does not seem to remember anything, which is a blessing. I suppose we will need to send him to the Circle of Magi's tower for training, once the war is over. It's so odd to think of the boy as a mage, of all things. Eamon has much to mourn and rebuild should he recover. But at least he can be thankful that both his son and wife are safe.
I owe you my deepest thanks. I had nearly... I can scarcely believe Connor is the boy he once was.
There is still the matter of Jowan. His poisoning Eamon began this whole mess, yet he lives. I must decide what becomes of him. We will hold him for Eamon to decide his fate. If he doesn't recover, Jowan's fate is sealed. What do you think?
Alors, que fait-on de Jowan?
You are a mage, and you know his faults better than anyone. I would trust your judgment.
Alors... On peut demander à ce qu'il soit exécuté, libéré... je ne crois pas que la décision vous revienne, je sais plus si c'est pour Eamon ou pour le cercle des mages. Et on peut essayer de lui trouver une utilité. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait de Jowan? Il est en PLS pour avoir causé cette situation. Bah globalement, c'est le frère d'Eamon. Eamon est malade, donc si Eamon meurt, comme Connor ne peut pas hériter du titre, c'est lui qui sera le nouveau Jarl. Voilà, le Bantigan. Et Isolde, elle serait complètement ok pour pécho Tigan à la place de Eamon. Oui, je sais. J'attends que Gwendolyn réagisse en fait. Allez, une fois, deux fois... Toujours pas de Gwendolyn? Libère-le, délivre-le. Ah! Mon dieu, vous avez des avis contraires. Que fait-on? C'est terrible. Débattez-en. Pourquoi voulez-vous choisir ces choix-là? En vrai, tu t'en fous. Ah. Bon. On va faire la réponse 4 et on va espérer qu'il y ait des trucs. Mais il vient de dire qu'il s'en fout. Bon.
What do you mean? He is responsible for many of the problems here, and is a Maleficar as well.
On peut dire que ça dépend du cercle des mages, que ça dépend du roi, mais pour le moment il n'y a plus de roi. Et on peut dire qu'il a raison. Sachant qu'on peut faire d'Alistair le roi et qu'il n'aime pas prendre des décisions, donc en fait ça reviendrait au même, c'est à nous de décider. Cercle des mages.
Perhaps you are correct. But that is Eamon's decision, not mine. I'm sorry. Jowan stays in the dungeon for now. But our task is not done yet. Whatever the demon did to my brother, it seems to have spared his life, but he remains comatose. We cannot wake him.
The urn of sacred ashes will save Eamon.
It has been tried, and we will continue trying. Perhaps the demon's absence will make a difference. However, the relic is another option.
My husband funded the research of a scholar in Denerim, a brother Genetivi. He has been studying the inscriptions on Andraste's birth rock. When Aemon fell ill, I sent the knights to speak to Genetivi. I hoped that he had finally discovered the location of the urn of sacred ashes itself. They were unable to locate Genetivi. In desperation, I sent more knights in search of the brother, or some clue of the urn's location.
I must organize Eamon's knights as they return, draft new soldiers, and prepare the army to fight. I shall hand Redcliffe back to Eamon when he awakens, and in a state where it can be of some use in the coming war. Truly, what other choice do I have? No one else can. Even if I wished to do it myself, I cannot abandon Redcliffe to its own devices. Perhaps you could seek out the brother's home in Denerim and see if any clues remain on his whereabouts. It is the only place to begin the search, I think. I must go to the hall and begin rebuilding. I wish you luck, and may the Maker go with you.
Papalapin, on a fini Golfalois jusqu'à ce qu'on ait l'urne. Alors... Force, Dex, Constit. Alistair. Tactique au bouclier. Plus de bonus d'attaque à revers. Ça il me semble que c'est bien pété. Ouais, c'est ça, malus de dégâts, mais c'est une vraie forteresse le mec. Immunise contre les renversements directs et confère un bonus de défense. S'il y a ça. On va mettre le passif de pas d'attaque à revers pour le moment. S'en sort pas mal. Du coup, maintenant, il va falloir choisir où on va. Donc, en attendant que ce soit fait, je pense que je vais discuter avec des PNJ. Parce qu'il faut commencer à draguer Zevran, tout ça, tout ça. Eh gamin, on aurait pu te tuer dans cette chambre. Oh, la geste d'Aveline.
You're the one who saved me. I remember having a bad dream. There was a very scary lady, but she went away. I hope Father gets better soon. He will, won't he?
Alors les destinations possibles, non pas tactique carte s'il te plaît. Nous pouvons aller à Denerim pour commencer pour commencer les quêtes perso des gens, se balader dans la ville, et surtout pour commencer à rechercher l'urne des cendres d'Andrasté dont on nous a parlé pour guérir le Jarl Imon. Il faudra y aller d'ailleurs pour la quête perso d'Alistair dont il nous a déjà parlé. Nous pouvons aller dans la forêt de Brésiliane, voir les elfes d'Alassien pour quérir leur aide contre l'enclin. Nous pouvons aller au col de Sulcher pour aller chercher un golem. Nous pouvons aller au dorsal de Givre qui nous mèneront vers Orzammar afin de prêter main forte aux nains. Idéalement, dans la plupart des routes, c'est fait en dernier. Même s'il y a un personnage à recruter là-bas, parce que Les tréfonds, c'est long et c'est dur. Et il n'y a pas de sous-entendu là-dedans, hein. C'est juste que c'est labyrinthique, une carte extrêmement grande avec des engeances de partout. Et je suis pas sûr qu'Alistair il puisse tanker pour le moment. Donc voilà. Zevran il aurait fait des sous-entendus lui, hein. Globalement, on peut aller chez les elfes, chez les nains, chercher un golem ou aller chercher les cendres de Jeanne d'Arc Jésus-Christ. C'est un peu comme ça qu'on peut résumer Andrasté, hein. Afin de sauver le Yarlimon. Intéressant ça.
And so I shall.
Andrasté, oui, carrément, c'est possible. Il y a juste un truc pour lequel on peut... Enfin, un truc optionnel pour lequel on peut revenir plus tard. Mais sinon... c'est totalement possible. Ok. Alors, on a du bon stuff là. Surtout pour toi. Appeler romance puis Andrasté. Ok. Comme ça, si on fait toute la romance de Leliana, non, je déconne. On aurait pu la buter là-bas. Mais ce serait con. On va lui laisser ce qu'il a pour le moment. Nous avons des nouvelles armes. Notamment un arc qui irait bien à Zevran, je crois. L'arc du renard. C'est moins bon que ce qu'il a, mais probabilité d'éviter les projectiles, c'est quand même pas mal. Non, on va lui laisser celui qu'il a. On va mettre ça à Alistair, tiens. Ah mais il a pas assez de dex, pas encore. Ok, bon, on a pillé l'armurerie.
And so I shall.
Ah mais je connais cette chambre. On y reviendra plus tard. Et oui, Alistair est une boîte de conserve. Il faut ça pour tanker. Journal d'un apaisé. Vous avez ça ici? Donc ça c'est là où on était, c'est ça? Oui. Au secours, je me perds dans 3 pièces. En essayant de tout piller.
This won't take long.
Général Fereldienne et Guérin. C'est pour qui ça? Non, ça c'est pas le bon côté. Ça non plus, on vient d'y aller. Ah! Cassons-nous! Bah écoute, dans un JDR on peut trouver des justifications, hein, mais dans un jeu vidéo, on a besoin des ressources. Tiens, vu que Joanne a été mis en tôle, je me demande si on peut descendre le voir. Hein. Parce que j'ai pas tenté ça. Ceci est une chanterie. Mais attends, c'était censé être le perso qu'on connaissait de notre background, alors... Eh salut!
They're keeping me here until the Arl revives. If he revives. I suppose that's better than nothing.
On it.
Et nous voilà à Golf Alois. Est-ce que j'ai assez de lyrium pour lui? Eh toi?
Move along, friend. Oh, wonderful. I always appreciate correspondence from my upstanding friends in the collective. On behalf of myself and my men, I thank you. I'll make sure the collective's generosity is reciprocated. On your way now.
Alors, voyons nos réserves de lyrium. C'est bon. Il a pris que les plus basses potions. Oui, j'ai déjà fait une quête, c'est ça. Bonjour.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just.
Merci pour les 3 pièces d'or. Ça va, ils se battent pas trop de loin, ton point d'exclamation.
A little something extra for friendship.
Et 2 pièces d'or. On est riche!
As you like.
À nous. Ok. Hop, je reviens 2 secondes, je vais allumer la lumière. Histoire de ne pas me ruiner les yeux.
Now that we're back at the camp, I want to talk about what happened at Redcliffe.
Ouah, Alistair veut parler.
I just wanted to thank you. You went out of your way to save the Arl's family, and you did it. Even though it would have been easier not to. There's been so much death and destruction. Well, It makes me feel good that at least we were able to save something. No matter how small. I owed the Arl that much. You're right. Hopefully, by that time, there's still enough of Ferelden left to save. Good. Now that the warm, fuzzy part of the day is over with, we can get back to the ritual dismemberments. Oh, wait, it's not Tuesday, is it?
Alistair approuve nos actions. Toujours intéressé. Leliana nous aime. On est bien en relation avec Leliana. Wynne nous admire. Sten est neutre. Tiens, Sten a monté de niveau. Taper. Un peu de constit. Coup assommant. Voilà. Alors. Sten est neutre, il va falloir monter sa relation. Morrigan a monté de niveau. Elle nous admire. Alors, on a dit qu'on partait sur la bombe vivante avec Morrigan. Pas le sang bleu a monté de niveau. Il nous aime, mais c'est de l'amitié. Force constite. Ah mon dieu. Mise à terre, c'est violent. Allez hop, on est parti. Et Zevran. Zevran est pour le moment neutre. Ce qui est parfaitement normal. Alors, voyons ensuite les cadeaux que nous avons à distribuer aux gens. Déjà pas le sang bleu, tu as peut-être de l'armure. Un collier pour chien nul. Et le reste c'est des résistances particulières. Ok. Et on avait pour toi... L'histoire de la lignée du Yarlimon, ça doit être pour Alistair du coup. On avait pour toi un os d'agneau. Voilà. Même si ça sert à rien parce que tu es au max. Ensuite... tac, 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 tac. Ah non, c'est pour Wynne. Très bien. C'est pour Wynne. Quant au bracelet, il est pour tout le monde. Ok. Alors, dans ce cas... Tac. Alistair. Ceci est pour
Is that
toi.
for me? Really? Wow!
Ah.
Wow!
Alistair nous aime beaucoup. Alors, Wynne. Ça.
Oh, marvelous.
Sten. Ça.
Unexpected. Thank you.
Alors, ensuite, Alistair, j'ai un cadeau pour toi. Un cadeau très important parce que tu m'en as parlé. Donc ça veut dire que ça va donner lieu à un dialogue. Attention.
Oh, this is my mother's amulet. It has to be. But why isn't it broken? Where did you find it? Oh, the Arl study? Then he must have found the amulet after I threw it at the wall. And he repaired it and kept it. I don't understand. Why would he do that? guess you could be right. We never really talked that much. And then the way I left... Thank you. I mean it. I thought I'd lost this to my own stupidity. I'll need to talk to him about this if he recovers from his... When he recovers, that is. I wish I'd had this a long time ago. Did you remember me mentioning it? Wow. Huh. I'm more used to people not really listening when I go on about things. Is this the part when the music starts and we begin dancing? Because I'm game. Where's the minstrels?
On est très loin avec Alistair. Bon, on va peut-être commencer à parler à Zevran.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it? To be truthful, I didn't even know the crows existed when I joined them. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased, for 3 sovereigns, I'm told, which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder, and if you do poorly in your training, you die. Of course. You compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining. I fancy many things. I fancy things that are beautiful, and things that are strong. I fancy things that are dangerous and exciting. Would you be offended if I said I fancied you? This is good to know. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go. And here I am, happy to be had. Isn't it wonderful how things work out that way? Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
Ça va monter vite avec Zevran, non?
All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so. And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared, the authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses, even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree? I often find myself the instrument of fate, ending these lives for one necessity or another. I console myself with the notion that most of them had it coming. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed, the pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands. It is? Perhaps you are right. I've been told from time to time that I am a sick, sick man, often in bed, oddly enough. There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules, oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else? Whereas I am content merely doing what I happen to be good at. It's a talent that not many come by honestly. I don't see why I need not pursue it. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear in them.
Ouais, je me disais bien que j'allais mal fait.
All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so. Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden.
Ah oui, je
In
te
Antiva
l'avais
it
dit qu'il
rains
draguait.
often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes. Every land has its assassins. Some are simply more open about their business than others. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable? You have me there, indeed. I, for one, can make no such claim, as I never laid eyes on the woman. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
Ouais, mais la VOSTFR aide, hein, parce que c'est quand même beaucoup plus drôle d'avoir un accent hispanique là-dessus. Parce que sinon, bah, en VF, ils avaient supprimé tous les accents. Il est bien quand même, hein. Ils ont fait un bon boulot et tout, mais c'est moins drôle qu'avec un accent hispanique.
It may as well be, but not this once, no. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else.
Non, c'est juste que à Antiva, ils ont un accent hispanique. Les nains ont un accent américain, les Orlésiens ont un accent français. Ils ont mis des accents par région en fait. Bon après lui ça lui va particulièrement bien parce que du coup c'est un assassin qui vient d'un bordel mais voilà.
Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather, perfect craftsmanship. Ah, but I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no? True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a beautiful Grey Warden, a woman who then spares my life? I could not. I say you are beautiful because it is true. Should I not? And glad I am to hear it. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
Ta-ta-la-la, ça continue à monter.
All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so. My adventures? I'm hardly an old man just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days? falling down a flight of stairs is an adventure. Falling into someone's bed, also an adventure. I am assuming what you're looking for are professional anecdotes. Let's see, my second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics. Well, it was just the one mage. Not as simple a mission as the vagrant Grey Warden or two, perhaps. As it turned out, the mage in question was quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her in a carriage on her way to escape to the provinces. After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning. Well, yes, twice, actually. Then she decided to try and use me instead. The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the Crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva City, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards out of the carriage. Broke her neck. Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly. At first, yes. Well, not upset. Surprised is really a better word. Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the Crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The Circle of Magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier all around. I got stupid, in fact, and very lucky. It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head. Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see. Well, there is you. But I'll point out that you did have to capture me and tie me up first. Every rule has its exception. Now that I've mentioned tying me up in that context, do we have extra rope about?
Devran qui veut faire du bondage. Allez, c'est parti.
All right.
Il nous raconte jamais les histoires d'assassinat qu'il a réussi. Il est parfait.
Again. Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once. Haha, you have rather macabre tastes, I see. I like that. Let's see, how about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Azrin. Did you hear of that down in these parts? Me? Not personally, but I did take part in the attack. Prince Azrin was 4th in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire Crocell from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Azrin once and for all. I was in one of those cells.
Il est génial, et c'est un personnage optionnel, puisqu'on aurait pu le buter. Ce qui est le cas des 2 voleurs du groupe, hein. On peut aussi refuser de recruter l'aliéna. On peut aussi refuser Sten. Je sais plus si on peut refuser Ogren ou pas. On peut tuer Wynne de toute façon. Enfin bref, on peut finir avec un groupe extrêmement réduit. Hein. Mais ce serait dommage parce que les persos sont quand même vachement bons. Surtout Zevran.
Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the Crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners, after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a Crow on the throne, a commoner. But that's a whole different story. I played a very small part. My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window. I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history. It's true. I live a charmed life. One of the prostitutes that raised me was a fortune teller. Said I wouldn't die young. She was rather startled by that. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
You. Ah, il commence à s'intéresser. Attention.
I've a question, if I may. Well, here's the thing. I swore an oath to serve you, yes? And I understand the quest you're on, and this is all very fine and well. My question pertains to what you intend to do with me once this business is over with, as a point of curiosity. Of course it is afterwards. The ravishing part is a given. One simply assumes that once your Grey Warden business is finished, you would have no need of an assassin to follow you about. Am I wrong? Oh, not more than friends? So would I should think. It is good to know what my options might be, but that is for another time. For now, we have much to do, yes?
Allez, ça continue à flirter cercle. Et on est à 42. Mais Zevran est génial. Zevran est trop bien.
Alright, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so. Well, the crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training, the sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is the desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field. I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer as I see it. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler. See? Getting paid for the act is beside the point. An assassin is more a tactical choice than a lifestyle. Of course, the crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we? I could teach others, but not yourself. First, I would need someone who has training as a rogue. That is, unless you would care to spend the years it takes to gain the fundamentals. But if there should be such a person who desires this training, yes, by all means, send them to me. The crows are already furious, no? I shall enjoy tweaking their nose further.
Et Morrigan nous détesterait en fait vis-à-vis de ça parce que elle estime qu'on est complètement con et qu'il pourrait donner, enfin, il pourrait mettre du poison dans notre bouche. Elle a pas totalement tort, hein, mais en l'occurrence, il a pas intérêt à faire ça, donc. Cela dit, s'il nous aime pas suffisamment, il y a un événement dans lequel il peut nous backstab pour aller avec un de ses ex et retourner en diva. Mais on est trop bien parti pour ça.
Alright, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so. Well, the only one that's really worth telling is the story of the mission right before I came to Ferelden. But no, I would rather not. I shouldn't have said anything.
Bah, je peux pas me spé assassin vu que je suis mage, mais l'aspect assassin est débloqué. Mais de toute façon, j'ai déjà débloqué toutes les spé. Donc quand tu le fais dans une partie, elle reste débloquée dans les autres. qui est plutôt pratique, hein, mais pas très RP.
Nothing that I would prefer to speak of. Perhaps another day, I'm sorry. All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so.
Ok, donc ces questions-là, c'est fini, il va falloir partir dans le personnel.
Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss?
Ça, il vaut mieux le laisser proposer de lui-même. C'est mieux.
This could be a sensitive topic, my dear lady. Are you sure you wish to voyage there? As you wish. Let me start by saying that my history is varied, indeed. It has also not been restricted to women. Does that offend you? Perhaps. That is entirely up to you. I grew up amongst whores, my dear. Sex is best when done well, and truly, that
Mais la
is my
relation
only
avec
rule.
Zevran est meilleure
Do
en
I
fait
prefer women?
si c'est lui qui
Yes,
propose.
yes, I believe I do. But you must understand that a certain open-mindedness is sought by the crows in their recruits, for very good reasons. This is a new path I am on now. It would be interesting to see where it leads. Already it has been many new things. I cannot change my past, obviously. I regret far more than the men and women I have been with, and if that is more than you can bear, well, then it is good we know now, yes? You're a better person than most, I suspect. Ah, enough talk of the past. It is what lies ahead that is important, no?
Bon. On a pas mal monté avec Zevran. Allez, au suivant, Liliana.
The stars are out.
Je peux tellement lui parler mal. Bah, de ce que j'avais compris sur un playthrough, j'avais fini avec un perso masculin. En fait, il préfère les femmes, mais il a eu plus d'aventures avec des femmes. Du coup, les hommes, c'est plus l'altrait de l'originalité, tu vois. Il est un peu entre les deux. Liliana, elle est plus lesbienne que bi, mais elle peut se taper des mecs quand même.
It comforts me to know that the stars will remain untouched by the blight. That whatever happens down here, they will shine eternally. Their light undimmed. There is a story about that cluster of stars over there. Do you know it? Elindra and her soldier? A long time ago, there lived a fair maiden called Elindra. She had many suitors, but spurned them all, for she did not love them. One day, Elindra was sitting by her window in her father's castle, singing and dreaming, when her lovely voice caught the attention of a young soldier. Entranced by her song, the soldier drew near to Elindra's window. As their eyes met, he fell in love with her, and she with him. When Elindra told her father about the man she had chosen, he was furious, for Elindra was high-born, but her love nothing more than a common soldier. To keep them apart, he had Elindra imprisoned in the highest tower of his castle, and sent her soldier to the wars. Alas, not a month had passed before news of the soldier's death reached Elindra. Alone in her tower, Elindra wept for her love, and beseeched the gods to deliver her from this cruel world. So earnest was her plea that the gods themselves were moved. They gathered Elindra into their arms and lifted her high into the heavens, where she became a star. The gods also raised up the soul of Elindra's soldier love, and there he dwells, across the horizon from her. The band of stars between them is a river of Elindra's tears, cried for her lost love. They say that when Elindra has cried enough, she will be able to cross the river to be reunited with her soldier. This story is one of my favorites, a tale of a love so great and so enduring that it defies death and moves the gods to action. Sometimes I ask myself, does such a love exist? Can it exist? I never expected you to say that. It is a pleasant surprise. I have to say there is a certain severity to you. Finding a person behind that all is nice. Maybe you should let your softer side show more often. Sometimes following your heart, not your head, leads you to remarkable places.
Ah non, pas Geralt de Rive avec un arc. Mais c'est pas Geralt, c'est Sten, il a une grosse épée.
Alistair is quite fond of you, isn't he?
Ah, ça commence. Les ennuis commencent.
Oh, don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. It's obvious. He's not very good at being subtle. I like Alistair. I don't know if there's anyone who doesn't, but I was wondering if there was something more between you two. Oh, don't start. You know perfectly well what I mean. You're flirting with him. You may think it's harmless and means nothing, but I see that he's quite taken with you. Alistair is a wonderful person, and you shouldn't give him false hopes if you do not mean to go further. He deserves better.
Ouais, t'es jalouse, hein.
Me? Upset? No, not at all. I just think you should be careful about what signals you send to others. I'm sorry if you think I nag. I just care a lot about you, and Alistair, of course. I don't want to see anyone hurt.
Ouah, on a réussi à pas avoir de désapprobation suite à ce dialogue. Il est resté parfaitement ambigu. Ah oui, mais là, on est en train de draguer 3 persos en même temps. Faut s'attendre à full merde. Il y a que Zevran qui nous donnera pas full merde.
Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind? Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think. Which one?
Pas de nouvelle histoire.
It will come to you soon, I'm sure.
C'est peut-être parce que Alistair, lui, il est très très loin dans sa relation. Hein. Il est à 71, Eliana est à 54, et Zevran est à 47 alors qu'il vient de commencer. On est pas mal. Hein. On est pas mal, mais ça va être chaud patate. Du coup, on va parler aux autres persos un petit peu. Hein. Il n'y a pas que les options de romance dans la vie.
I am hardly surprised. Very well. Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on. As you wish.
Ok. Sten n'a rien à dire, comme d'habitude.
You're quite taken with each other, aren't you? I've noticed your blossoming relationship, and I wanted to ask you where you thought it was going.
Alistair is a fine lad, skilled in battle, but quite inexperienced when it comes to affairs of the heart. I would hate to see him get hurt. You are both Grey Wardens, and he is the son of a king. You have responsibilities which supersede your personal desires.
Ouais, tout le monde m'a grillé là. Le problème c'est qu'Alistair il est pas discret. Les deux autres c'est des voleurs, tu vois. Ils essaient au moins d'être discrets. Mais Alistair il en est pas capable.
Love is ultimately selfish. It demands that one be devoted to a single person, who may fully occupy one's mind and heart to the exclusion of all else. A Grey Warden cannot afford to be selfish. You may be forced to make a choice between saving your love and saving everyone else. And then what would you do? Nothing is certain. Not in these times. You cannot take anything for granted. I want you to be aware of this. I am just trying to minimize the suffering that may come to either of you. I have given my advice. Do with it what you will.
Bah, en vrai, on va essayer de se taper un peu tout le monde, mais il faut savoir avec qui on veut finir. Je préférerais en fait terminer l'histoire avec Leliana le plus tôt possible parce que Zevran il est plus tolérant.
What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability.
Ok, oui, il n'a rien à nous dire, mis à part nous embêter vis-à-vis d'Alistair.
As you desire.
Il y a toujours que pour les mages, c'est ça? Ouais. Morrigan.
I await your command. So, full of questions, are you? Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be? Oh, she certainly was human. Once. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience. Ah, I see. That does explain much. I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire. As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her. No, quite true, but this part only. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord, who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen, and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed. The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
Morrigan a méga la classe. Elle est hyper manipulatrice, mais elle a la classe.
That was not the point. Conobar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas they who slew Conobar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conobar's allies chased Flemeth, you see, chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies. The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began. I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
Bonne nuit, Gandalfel. J'espère que tu dormiras bien. Tanis, non, je n'ai pas joué à Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines.
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her. You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one, and these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed, so should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too. The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
On verra. Pour le moment, ma priorité, c'est quand même de nourrir mon chat. Malheureusement.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless. I see. I find myself a little envious, to tell the truth. But it matters not. Let us move on. I await your command. So, full of questions, are you? Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I? Any number of cats could inform you of the answer to that question, but have it your way. What is it you asked if I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness. Would you not do the same? Your world is an unforgiving and cold place. The wilds I hail from is home to me, and I a natural denizen. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for. Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested. Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Elle est assez cash, Morrigan, généralement. Avec nous, en tout cas. Mais elle n'hésitera pas à mentir si elle en a besoin pour manipuler quelqu'un. Et elle sait pas vraiment ce qu'il en est vis-à-vis de Flemeth. Donc quand le sujet c'est Flemeth, bon... elle pense en savoir plus que la plupart des gens, mais elle a aucun moyen de connaître la vérité elle-même. Donc voilà.
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again. Yes, here I am. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Bon, on a monté un petit peu Morrigan.
Here, look at this. Do you know what this is? I picked it in Lothering. I remember thinking, how could something so beautiful exist in a place with so much despair and ugliness? I probably should have left it alone, but I couldn't. The Darkspawn would come and their taint would just destroy it. So I've had it ever since. I thought that I might give it to you, actually. In a lot of ways, I think the same thing when I look at you.
Eh, on a parlé à tout le monde sauf lui, hein. Et mon vrai chouchou, c'est Zevran, à vrai dire. Mais bon, voilà. La violence, ça marcherait très bien avec Zevran.
I'm glad you like it. I was just thinking, here I am doing all this complaining, and you haven't exactly been having a good time of it yourself. You've had none of the good experience of being a Grey Warden since your joining. Not a word of thanks or congratulations. It's all been death and fighting and tragedy. I thought maybe I could say something. Tell you what a rare and wonderful thing you are to find amidst all this darkness. I'm glad you like it. Now, if we could move right on past this awkward, embarrassing stage and get right to the steamy bits, I'd appreciate it. Bluff called. Damn, she saw right through me. I'll be standing over here until the blushing stops, just to be safe. You know how it is.
Bon bah voilà, hein, la grande discrétion d'Alistair, maintenant tu comprends un peu mieux pourquoi tout le monde est au courant. Le mec te file des roses et tout le bazar. Bon, je propose qu'on aille à Denerim. Hein. Non, non, arrête Zevran. Je veux juste tourner la caméra. On n'a pas parlé au chien encore. Bonjour. Tu n'as rien à dire. C'est sûr qu'il a pas la même expérience que Zevran en la matière. Hein.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road.
Est-ce que t'as encore des rumeurs, Vodan? Hein? Parce que j'ai pas assez fait de meublage lore la dernière fois.
There's terrible news. Everyone is talking about a battle in the north between Logain's men and Ban Bronik. The Ban was utterly crushed. Someone told me that he was meeting with Logain to talk terms, but I don't believe it. Surely Logain would never attack someone attempting to parley.
Ah
That's
bon.
what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is.
Ah bon, Logain il attaquerait pas quelqu'un qui est venu pour parlementer. C'est un stratège, hein, tu sais. Et il s'en fout en fait de l'honneur.
There's news come out of Redcliffe at last. Seems that Arl Eamon has come down with some deadly sickness, probably the blight, and he may even die. If he does, that probably means no one else can stand up to Tyrn Logain in the Landsmeet. Rather fortunate turn for Tyrn, no? That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is.
Bon, ça on sait, hein, il a envoyé Joanne pour assassiner Eamon.
Tyrn Logain has announced that whatever happened to Ban Bronik will happen to any other nobleman who doesn't live up to the oath he swore to serve the throne. There's a lot of folks angry about it. Some of the Banorn who weren't saying anything are now saying that Logain is trampling on their rights as sovereign lords. Seems like more fighting is inevitable at this point, doesn't it? Sad state of affairs. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is.
Ça part en guerre civile. Et si le Jarlimon se réveille, eh ben les Banrais vont se rallier à Eamon.
I don't know what to tell you. Nothing I can think of at the moment.
Ok. Bon bah cassos, hein.
Of course.
On va à Denerim.
Yes.
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 Je me garde les quêtes annexes pour un moment où j'aurai personne dans le chat. Ce sera quand même vachement pratique. Et on est attaqué! Ah non, c'est une cinématique.
Sire, I have more news. Yes. Well, it seems that the fighting has gone
Enough.
exactly as you...
I would like to know what you intend to accomplish, Father. Should we not be fighting the Darkspawn instead of each other?
The nobility should be brought into line and then the Darkspawn defeated. This is no true blight, Honora. Only Kaelin's vanity demanded it be so.
Beg pardon, sire. But blight or no, we may not have the manpower to face the Darkspawn soon.
Kaelin approached your legions for support, did he not?
Never! Marek and I drove those bastards out! We'll not roll out the welcome for them now.
We need help, Father. We cannot deal with this crisis alone.
Ferelden will stand on its own. I will lead it through this, Honora. You must have faith in me.
Did you kill Kaelin?
Kaelin's death was his own doing.
Pou, pou, pou. Ah, ah c'est le fameux truc qu'on a invoqué et qui attaque tout le monde sur la route, ça. Je veux juste voir à quoi il ressemble le bouclier de Golfalois. Ok. Et le bouclier d'Imon. C'est un meilleur bouclier de Golfalois. On va lui laisser le bouclier d'Imon.
And so I shall.
Alors, toi.
On it.
Toi.
Stealth it is. More fun to be had.
Ok, le truc fait des doubles de lui-même, dont un mage. Très bien. Va t'occuper du mage, Zevran.
Slay them all. It's a gotcha.
Yes.
Oh my!
Ok. Il va y avoir une marque de mort sur Alistair, ça va pas faire plaisir du tout.
Yes,
Alistair, tourne s'il te plaît.
Very well.
J'ai dit Alistair taunt. Bon, ça a l'air d'être bon ça.
At your order.
I will fight if I must.
Alors, le vrai Faubert à Pop. Très bien.
You know how to fight, don't you?
Zevran, j'aimerais que tu passes derrière, s'il te plaît. Alistair, il me faut une purge. Pas assez d'endu. Win. Je fonce de gros. Ouais, du coup la purge ça attendra qu'il soit dégelé.
and so I shall.
Not so fast.
Ok, maintenant. Win, il faut régénérer ce petit mystère.
Next time.
Away with you!
I still remember my first battle.
Ok, c'est bon. Hop, qu'avait-il sur lui? Botte martiale de mage. En cuir de Drake. Une bonne défense, tout ça. Moi je dis oui. Je vais mettre les corps de voile à Win. Et nous avons gagné un niveau. Est-ce qu'il y avait des trucs pour lesquels on avait besoin de ruse? Ah, il faut 16 en ruse pour maîtrise de la rhétorique. On a 17. Oui, non, le max c'est 16 en russe. Donc on est bien. Du coup, on va mettre plus en volonté parce qu'on est souvent en rate de mana. Oui, foudre conductrice, c'est vrai que j'avais dit que je prendrais ça. Même si c'est assez dangereux pour les alliés, c'est quand même bien pété. Donc on va prendre ça et au prochain niveau ce sera probablement du sort de feu. Ok. En route pour la capitale de Ferelden. Et je vais peut-être faire ma pause VOD une fois qu'on sera arrivé à Denerim. Voilà. On Zebran retire tout ça. Hop. Voilà. Hop. De toute façon, on est parti en mage DPS élémentaire là. Wynne elle tape dans la création, Morrigan elle sera entre esprit et entropie, et nous on est plutôt sur l'instant. Bref, je vais faire une petite pause de 2 minutes, histoire d'aller voir comment va mon chat qui m'appelle depuis tout à l'heure, et de faire ma pause VOD. Je reviens tout de suite.